Mr. President, are we in a state of undeclared war with Libya?
Not on his side. He's declared it. We just haven't recognized the declaration yet, nor will we. No, it's, as I say, we're going to defend ourselves, and we're certainly going to take action in the face of specific terrorist threats. All right. And Andrea?
Mr. President, Mikhail Gorbachev really blasted you on Soviet television yesterday, accusing you of provoking another Cold War and criticizing you for refusing to negotiate on the test ban treaty, for cutting the size of the UN delegation here. Is that the spirit of Geneva, and what does it bode for the next summit?
I wasn't aware of that he said all those things about me. There, he must have been reading Pravda and TASS too much. Why don't we send him some American newspapers? No, I think that his communication directly to me has certainly been in the spirit of Geneva, and my responses to him have been. So maybe he was speaking to a different audience at that time. But we're trying to go forward, and as I say, we're planning for a summit here. I know that they were upset about the action with regard to the UN, but that has been under consideration for a long time by us. The Soviet Union's delegation was bigger than the next two top delegations in the UN put together, which includes ours. And there have been enough defectors that we were aware that they weren't all delegates to the United Nations. They had extracurricular activities that were not for our benefit. Yes.
President, could I just follow on that? What do you think the effect of future decisions, such as SALT II, would be on the summit preparations? Do you feel in any way that your hands are tied on the SALT II decision, which must be made before May 20th, because of the summit preparations?
No, we're very much aware of wanting to keep these going, and many of these things are things we debated and discussed in the first summit meeting at Geneva, in those private meetings. And we'll be taking them up again in the next meeting, trying to make some sizable and realistic gains in lessening the tensions. It all comes under the head of what I told him when we first met, and that is that the quote that I used was that countries don't mistrust each other because they're armed. They're armed because they mistrust each other. And that what he and I had to do was find deeds, not words, that we could perform that would lessen that mistrust to the point that we could reduce these massive armaments.
President, you obviously condone the use of violence for the freedom fighters in Nicaragua. Why then do you condemn the use of violence for people your State Department claims are freedom fighters inside South Africa?
We don't condemn. We're trying every way we can to try and bring about meetings of the leaders on both sides. We know that there are two factions in South Africa, in the government of South Africa. One of them stubbornly is holding to continuation of the past practices. The other, and this includes President Botha, wants change and has taken a number of steps, as many as he can get away with. It's just like me dealing with the Hill up here. Sometimes he can't get all that he seeks, but we are continuing to urge and have made it plain, and I can tell you that he has agreed with us that he finds the past system repugnant and is trying to get changes as quickly as possible. And we're going to try.
On the question of freedom fighters again, it's been reported that the freedom fighters in Angola are being given American Stinger missiles. Are you at all concerned that such high technology American weapons might fall into the hands of terrorists not friendly to the United States?
I don't answer the questions on the nature of the armaments that we provide in cases like this. First of all, because I think if we feel that it is worthwhile for us to help militarily a force of that kind, then there's no reason why we should help their enemies know what weapons they have or what weapons are being denied them. So I'm not going to answer that as to whether we are or aren't with those. Yeah.
Mr. President, as you said in your opening statement, it's budget season in Congress, and some Senate Republican leaders are warning that if the tax reform that you badly want may die if the budget process doesn't get started moving soon, and it's going to take leadership from you to get the budget process moving. I'd like to know what are your plans for pushing the budget process.
Started pushing at about 9:30 or 9:45 this morning with the Republican leadership of both the House and Senate. And we're going to keep on pushing. With tax reform in this present time, how many of you have made out your own tax forms yet? Already? Huh? No, I had someone doing it for me, but I have to tell you, I am more than ever convinced we must have reform. Because when I finally saw it, it was all made out, and I still didn't understand it.
Sir, if I may, they say it's going to take compromise from you on the budget, willingness to come down on defense spending, something to get it moving. Are you willing to give up something?
Well, I'm a little annoyed by the fact that not too long ago, the Congress of the United States agreed, and we agreed to a compromise of a sizable cut that would leave us with 0 growth and then 3% and 3% for the next 2 years following. Now, they approved that. We gave a compromise, but every time we make a compromise on defense spending, the Congress says, well, that's the point we start new bargaining from. And we have so far given up or reduced the budget by $294 billion over the next 5 years. And in the world the way it is today, and with the questions you've been asking me about Gorbachev and summit meetings and so forth, I just think it is foolhardy to continue down that policy that the only place we can get savings. In my budget, I asked for the elimination of 44 programs that I and the cabinet and the people who run those programs believe we could well do without. And the only budget consideration now is being given is, I think, maybe tentatively eliminate 3 instead of the 44. But the problem with our situation, the deficit spending and all, is government spending too high. It has gone way beyond the growth of our economy. It has grown beyond the growth of the personal earnings of the people, even though last month they increased by $19.5 billion. And we just have to face that, and unfortunately there's some people up there that for 50 years have been living in a world of running up debt, and they can't get out of the habit.
You, Mr. President.
I never did get back. I was on my way back here.
Go ahead.
No. All right. Thank you all.
Are you the jinx that causes the Orioles to lose every time you show up for an opening game?
I feel that way. I've been there 4 times, and they've lost all 4 games. And I don't think I'm welcome back, Sam.
Why should a Cubs game next time? Cubs game next time.